The American dream of financial freedom is alive and doing well, and you can have that dream, whatever it means to you, if you simply take the time to learn how to get it. Hello everyone, I'm Don Boyer, and along with my business partner Anthony Morgan, we want to welcome you to this exciting webinar on the law of influence. Now, you can apply the law of influence to many things in life and business, but today we are going to apply it into the world of creating financial freedom and business entrepreneurship success. You know, they say that a goal is a dream with a deadline, but I think it's a lot more than just that. I believe that it is a dream that you buy into. It's a dream and a desire that you have that down inside, not only do you believe that you can achieve it, but you know that you are destined to receive it. In fact, you ought to write that down. Your dreams and your goals are something that you believe in, and not only believe that you can have them, but you're destined to receive them. Now let's talk about the law of influence. We have people listening in and watching right now all over the United States, in Europe, in Canada, and we want to welcome everyone and just to make sure that you are taking specific notes, because here's what's going to happen to you after this webinar. You're going to buy one of two things. You're going to buy your dreams, or you're going to buy your excuses of why you can't have them. I highly encourage you to take the first option, and that is to buy your dreams. So let's talk about the law of influence. What is the law of influence? The law of influence is causing people to do what we want them to do that is in their best interest. You need to understand what that really means. I want to say it again. The law of influence is causing people, individuals, to do what we want them to do that is in their best interest. When you cause people to do what you want them to do that is in your best interest, that's not the law of influence. That's called manipulation, and you never want to go into those waters. But when we come in and use the law of influence effectively, in fact, the way that it was designed to work, then what begins to happen is that it helps the other individual achieve things that is in their best interest. Let me ask you a question. What made Walt Disney a billionaire? A lot of people think it was the mouse. It wasn't the mouse. The mouse was simply a vehicle for the law of influence to flow through. No, what made Walt Disney a billionaire is he understood and mastered the law of influence. Now think about this. He mastered this law so well that today people spend $2.5 million every single day at the Walt Disneyland theme parks. That's a lot of money. Nobody forces them to do that. Nobody compels them to do that. They are byproducts of the law of influence that Walt Disney mastered, because he created an atmosphere. He created a place that you go in and experience a place where dreams do come true. That was his whole thing. And using the law of influence. He used the law of influence so well that he causes 65,000 people to work for Disneyland theme parks. But they don't just work for Disneyland theme parks. They work there and create such an experience that when the customers and clients visit Disneyland, you don't visit Disneyland, you experience Disneyland. He used the law of influence not only to create thousands and thousands of people to visit the parks every single day, but thousands of employees to work at their highest level of performance. This is what we're talking about on the law of influence. Let me ask you a question. What if you could get this exact same employee, this law of influence, that worked for Walt Disney, that caused him to be a millionaire, come work for you? Well, you know, that's absolutely true, and it could happen in your business starting today. The law of influence applied to your business will help you create the financial freedom that you've always desired. See, it's not based on your product. It's not based on the marketplace. It's not based on effective marketing. It's based on law, and that law is the law of influence. Now, what's the difference between the law of influence and the law of attraction? Well, the law of attraction is a phenomenal law and it will help you bring all the things that you desire in your life. However, the law of attraction is a law that is based on our beliefs, our paradigms, our inner belief structure. And this is why so many people that try to apply the law of attraction in their life don't get it to work effectively or how they want it to get it to work, because they've got to go through a lot of process of getting old paradigms out, old belief systems, and then insert or download inside them new paradigms and new belief systems. And that takes a while, and that's a little bit of a process. But in the law of influence, it is a positional law that anybody can use because it's outside of the realm of belief. It is in the realm of positioning yourself. Exactly what Walt Disney did. He used the law of influence to bring him massive success. Dale Carnegie wrote a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you haven't read that book, I highly encourage you that you pick up a copy and start studying that, because Dale Carnegie also understood on the power of influence when it comes to building a business and building relationships. You want to be able to position yourself into a point where people line up to do business with you. In other words, when you use the law of influence, here's what basically happens. You work less and you earn more. And you ought to write that down. With the law of influence, you're going to work less and you're going to earn more. That's the power of influence. Now, the great thing about the power of influence is it works in any business, in any country, at any time, for any person, with any product. See, whatever business you're in, if you apply the law of influence, you will reach your highest potential. Because once again, you're causing people to do what you want them to do that is in their best interests. When you use the law of influence, it does not matter what's happening in the economy. It doesn't matter what's happening in the marketplace. It doesn't matter what other people are doing or what the competition is doing. You will stand out alone when you apply the law of influence to your business. You want to have more sales, you want to have more increase, you want to have business expansion, you want to create financial freedom, then the law of influence is going to be your ticket to be able to get you those things. Now, when we start using the law of influence, there are a number of things that begin to happen to us. So before we get into that, before I share those secrets with you, let me share with you 7 things that activate the law of influence. And I highly encourage you take some notes. Number 1, make people feel fantastic. Make them feel magnificent. You see, the world and the masses are gathered around to making people feel terrible and horrible. You switch on the news, by the time you watch 5 minutes of it, you feel horrible. You listen to the average person talk out there of all their woes and glooms and dooms and problems and drama, and you feel horrible. And then you get the other part of people that want to talk to you, and all they want to do is pull you down and tell you why life is so miserable. Well, here's the thing. It takes no genius to do that. It doesn't take any special skills to make people feel bad. But when you turn that around and you become an individual that is dedicated to making people feel good and magnificent every single day, all of a sudden now the law of influence starts working and going on your behalf. I guarantee you, if you learn to master this, when you wake up in the morning and you ask yourself, how can I make people today feel magnificent, feel fantastic, feel excited, you will have more business knocking on your doorstep than you're going to know what to do with. All of a sudden now people will be surrounded on you. They're going to want to be involved with whatever you're involved in, simply because you made them feel good. You made them feel magnificent. Law number 2. When you use the law of influence and you get it to engage, you automatically now become unforgettable. Meaning, when we walk into people's lives and we're using the law of influence, people automatically remember us. They're going to remember what we say. They're going to remember what we do. And more importantly, they're going to remember how we made them feel and the experience they had with us. The law of influence, when you are at a position of using it correctly, you become unforgettable. Here's the third thing you need to do to pop into the law of influence. Overpromise and underdeliver. I said that wrong. You underdeliver and overpromise. No, I got that all screwed up. Here's the principle. Okay? You underpromise and you overdeliver. What that means is that if I tell you I'm going to deliver you a product in 1 week and it takes me 10 days, I look horrible in your eyes. I didn't keep my word. However, if I tell you I'm going to deliver you a product in 1 week and I get it to you in 3 days, all of a sudden now I look like a hero. So you want to underpromise and then overdeliver. The next thing you want to do is you want to learn how to make a decision. You know, one of the greatest characteristics of all millionaires is they know how to make instantaneous decisions. Wealthy people make decisions on a snap and very rarely change them. But on the other hand, non-wealthy people have a very difficult time making a decision, and then when they do, they almost immediately change them. If you want to have financial freedom in your life, if you want to have the law of attraction and the law of influence working on your behalf, then learn how to make a decision now. Bob Proctor taught me this personally. One day I was having breakfast with him, and he said, Don, you know how to make a right decision every single time? He said, you ask yourself 2 questions. Number 1, you ask yourself, will this decision move me closer to my dreams? And then number 2, will this decision be in harmony with what I'm doing? If the answer is yes to those 2 questions, then you move forward. You don't worry about, do I have the resources? Do I have the ability? Do I have the time? Will I be able to get this accomplished and make it happen? You don't worry about that. Because here's the key. Once you make a real decision, the resources, the time, the talent, the skill, the people, that everything shows up. See, we've had it backwards. We wanted to base our decision on what we had now. So if we didn't think that we could do it, if we felt like we didn't have the money, if we didn't have the time, then we didn't do it. We didn't make a decision. Well, folks, that's not how it works. If you want to become wealthy, if you want to use the law of influence, you make a decision now, and then the resources show up. You say yes now and figure out the how later. The next thing that's going to help you develop the law of influence in your life is you become a leader. See, leadership is the highest paid profession in the world. When you become an effective leader, you will automatically start using the law of influence to expand your income and your business and have expansion growth with everything that you touch. Now, leadership is a byproduct of being an example. You see, it's not do as I say, not as I do. That doesn't hunt. That old dog doesn't hunt. You have to be an example. You have to do and show by example to those that you're leading. If you're leading your clients and customers into your product line, you have got to be the epitome of that product line. Folks, you simply can't sell a dream looking like a nightmare. You have to now learn and understand what true leadership is. Leadership is the epitome of the law of influence. And when you get it right, you'll find that leadership is the highest paid profession in the entire world. Here's the next thing you need to do to engage the law of influence. Be a class act. In other words, have class in everything that you do. Let your life be the epitome of people looking at you and say, man, that woman, that man, now they got class. They only got class in the way that they look, but the way that they speak, the way they handle themselves, the way they conduct business. Look at, when you go out, you're on a business deal and you're at a setting, having lunch, be a class act and pick up the check. You know, one of the first things that I look at when I go out with a new associate or people that want to do business in our organization, we all go out to dinner. And I'm going to watch who reaches for the check. Okay? The moment I see somebody, when the check comes, automatically, all of a sudden now, get a phone call and they have to go outside, or all of a sudden they have to use the restroom now and leave while the check is being addressed. I know that's an individual that I don't want in my organization or working for me. Okay? The reason why is they don't have the understanding of how to engage the law of influence and be a class act. Okay? If you go to lunch with a group of millionaires, you know what happens? There's a war that breaks out to see who gets to pay for the check. Now people say, well, you know, that's because millionaires have money. No, 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 no. It's because of the mindset. It's because of them being dedicated to being a class act. So if you want the law of influence to work on your behalf, then be a class act. Disneyland is a class act. You go there, you're not going to find a bunch of litter on the floor because they've trained their employees through systems to make it the cleanest park and theme park in the world. Everything about Disneyland is a class act. And that's the reason why we pay unreasonable amounts of money to go through the doors and spend lots of money on things that we don't need at Disneyland, because Disneyland is a class act. So you want the law of influence working on your behalf? Become a class act. Now here's the other thing, and the last thing that I'll share about engaging the law of influence on your behalf. Use your business to build people. Don't use people to build your business. Most of the time people go out there and they're looking for people. I got to find people because I want to build my business. Wrong philosophy. Wrong way to go into business. You won't engage the law of influence that way. See, you use your business, even if you're just starting out. Your business is established. So you're going to use your business, you're going to use your product to build people. You're not going to try to use people to build your business. When you understand that and you practice it and build your business from that perspective and mindset, then all of a sudden the law of influence begins to work on your behalf. So I'm hoping you're taking a lot of notes, because this is going to change your bank account. This is going to make 2015 your best year ever. In fact, if you start using these strategies right now, today, after this webinar ends, I promise you, by the time Christmas comes, it will be a different story than perhaps it was last year. You're going to be able to have the things that you want. Your business will grow and excel the exact way that you want it to excel. You'll have more fun, you'll have more time, and I promise you, you're going to have more money. So here's what I want you to do right now. If you haven't been taking notes thus far, get a pen out, get a piece of paper, and I want you to write these 10 things down. I want you to write these 10 things that happen to you when you use the law of influence. 10 things. Are you ready? Write them down. They'll change your life, and I promise you, they're going to change your bank account. Number 1, you become a money magnet. That's right. When you use the law of influence, you become a money magnet. Money and wealth begins to attract to you. All of a sudden now, it starts flowing to you instead of away from you. Most people out there in business today, they're chasing after money. They're chasing after growth. They're chasing after clients and customers. Why? Because they're not creating the cash flow and the money to meet their bills and pay their overhead. But when you use the law of influence, that goes away. You literally now attract wealth from the north, the south, the east, and the west. It becomes flowing to you, not because you're a genius, not because you're using new marketing strategies, not because you shined up your product. It's because you're using law. Gravity works every single time. If you drop a quarter or a pin from your hand, it's never going to fly up to the sky. It's always going to fall down to the ground. Why? Because of the law of gravity. When you use the law of influence, the law works every single time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, to make you a money magnet. You got money problems now, use the law of influence and your money problem goes away. Number 2, people become attracted to you. All of a sudden now, when you're using the law of influence, everybody wants to be around you. They want to use your product. They want to be in business with you. It doesn't matter what business you're in. They want to be associated with you. They want to talk to you on the phone. They want to be in joint ventures with you. All of a sudden now, you got more friends than you could handle. Your phone will go off. Emails, texts. Everybody now starts looking at you and they don't even know why. They just want to be around you. They like the way they feel when they're around you. They will go and do the extreme. They will change their schedule. They will make it happen as long as they can get to be in your presence. You literally become extremely attractive. Jim Rohn said many times, if you want to be wealthy, learn how to be attractive. Okay. Now, we're not just talking about from a physical standpoint. We're talking about from an energy standpoint, from a magnetic standpoint. The law of influence will make you attractive. Number 3, people will join you in business, whatever that business is. It's the most amazing thing that you will ever experience. When you have the law of influence working on your behalf, all of a sudden now, people will say yes to your business opportunity, say yes to your product, before they even know what the product is or what the business opportunity is all about. Matter of fact, they won't even go to the trouble of finding out if that product is good for them or if the business opportunity is right for them. They simply want to join you in business, whatever that business is. Because of the law of influence, they jump on board. There is no selling. You know, I'm anti-selling myself. If I have to sell you something, that product is not for you. It's too much work. Why in the world would you want to sell? Why do you want to try to, read books on how to overcome objections? How to use, sales technique to make the customer say yes? That's way too much work. That's a pain in the kazoo. And it doesn't work. And here's the whole thing. Nobody really wins using that game and that strategy. Now I know that message and what I'm saying is not a popular thing out there because of all the success sales books that are in the market. But the truth of the matter is, if you use the law of influence, you don't have to ever worry about selling anybody anything. They will beg you to be in partners with you. They will beg you to buy your product and to jump into your business. See, Walt Disney never ever put high pressure or sales on people to go to Disneyland. The man is on the other side of the grave, but the power of influence still attracts people to spend $2.5 million a day at his theme parks. And he's not even on planet Earth. It's the law of influence. You get that law of influence, and people will flock into your business because of the law of influence. The next thing that will happen is that people are going to purchase your product and your service at any price. Right now, because of the economy the way it is, everyone's thinking, man, I want to cut prices, I want to lower my prices. It has nothing to do with that. Folks, I want you to know that there is still a lot of money out there and people are still spending a lot of it. If they're not spending it with you, it's not because there's a lack of it. It's because you don't know how to attract it. You don't know how to use the law of influence in this economy in the 21st century. When you're using the law of influence, price no longer becomes an issue. It doesn't make any sense to spend $100 per person walking through the doors of Disneyland and spending outrageous amounts of money on products that are, quote, overpriced. We have no problem doing that. And people, thousands of people every day have no problem doing that because of the law of influence. So when you're using the law of influence, whether your product is $1,000, $5,000, $12,000, and I have products that we market and sell every single day at those price range is not an issue. The law of influence will cause people to buy your product, your service, whatever that is, at any price and say yes because of the law of influence. The next thing that happens, and the fifth thing you need to write down, is people are going to say yes to your offer before you even get done giving the offer. It's the most incredible thing. You know, when I go out and speak at our seminars and our events and to live audiences, before I even come to what's known as the close, before I even get done with offering everything that I'm going to offer, I already have a line of people that have jumped up out of their seats and waiting at my table in line to hit their credit card at our table. And our products range from, on the low end, $1,000 up to $12,000. Yet people line up in the back to swipe their card. Why? Because of the law of influence. The law of influence will cause people to say yes to your offer, whatever that offer might be. Join my company, get in my organization, get in my downline, purchase a service. The answer is yes. The reason why, not because of your salesmanship, not even because of the product in and of itself, but because of the law of influence. That's just how it works. Now, the next thing that happens is you become a magnetized referral. Let me tell you what that means. We've all heard the terminology OPM, other people's money, or OBM, other banks' money. What a lot of people do not know of the gold mine is of OPC, other people's customers. When you use the law of influence and you use it effectively in your business and in your life, people will begin to tell friends and family about you and your products and your services, and your phone and your email will begin to explode with new referrals with people you've never even met. And you ask them, well, how did you hear about our product line? How did you even hear about our company? And they're going to say, XYZ told us about you. Now, we're talking about the law of influence in full bloom. This is what happens to you when you engage the law of influence in your business and in your life. Your business begins to explode. These are the things that will begin to happen and operate in your business and your finances, which will cause your bank account to continually go up. Your cash flow will begin to explode. The next thing that begins to happen is you start attracting key people from around the world. All of a sudden now, through the law of influence, the right people, the people that can open up doors for you that you could never open up. Individuals, you see, right now, you are 1 millionaire away from becoming financially free. You better write that down. You're 1 millionaire away from that millionaire stepping into your life and radically change your entire business and your income. When you use the law of influence, all of a sudden now it attracts the key people that can change your world and change your business. The law of influence causes those key individuals to show up on their own as if it was by magic. The law of influence. Now the next thing that it does is it will cause you to turn your annual income into your monthly income. I know for some of you that's blowing your mind, but so many people have done it and are doing it. You use the law of influence over a reasonable amount of time, and the time will come when you'll look back and you say, what I'm making per month is what I used to make per year. The law of influence will cause you to make monthly what you used to make yearly. It will turn your annual income into your monthly income. And that's how powerful this law is. The next thing that happens with the law of influence is that you begin to really work less and earn more. See, everybody now is literally killing themselves, trying to work more to make more. But that's the wrong path to be on. You never want to work that way. You don't want to break your back to the bank. There's a much better way. It's called the law of influence. Using the law of influence, you're going to work less and earn more. All through the law of influence. Now, the 10th thing and the last thing that it's going to do for you is it is going to lead you into other forms of incomes that you never even thought about. Using the law of influence. You see, every wealthy person has MSIs, multiple streams of income. The more income streams you have, the more money you're going to make. Well, using the law of influence, you may have one business here, but I promise you, it's going to lead you into other income streams that is going to pour more wealth, more money into your life. And they would have never showed up if you had not embarked and used and implemented the law of influence. The law of influence will make you financially free. Now, on this webinar, I've shared with you some key ideas on how to get the law of influence to work. How to make all this go on your behalf and create the things that you want. But here's the whole thing. Most people will take information like this and do nothing, and then wonder why they never ever experience their dreams. Do you realize that right now that you're about $2.74 a day away from financial freedom? Well, let me ask you this. Could everyone right now on this webinar afford to invest $2.74 a day in their business to create a 6 and 7 and higher income? And the answer is yes. Everyone on this webinar that's watching me right now can afford to take $2.74 and put it towards business expansion. Everyone can do that. But will everyone do it? No. The facts are, when we look at this over a period of years, we have found that only 5% actually do. But here's the good news. The 5% that actually use these principles that we're sharing with you on this webinar, take it and create financial freedom and millionaire status. This is how powerful this information is. Now, I don't know if you're going to be part of the 95 or part of the 5%. But I do know this. Those of you that fall in the 5% category, you're about to make 2015 a year that you will never forget, because it will be the year that changed your life, your business, and your finances. Let me tell you something. There is nothing greater than financial freedom, because it allows you to live where you want to live, do what you want to do, have what you want to have, and help who you want to help. Never ever let anyone tell you that you cannot have the dream of financial freedom. The first thing that I said to you on this webinar tonight was that the American dream is alive and doing well. And that dream of financial freedom, whatever that means to you, you can have that dream if you simply take the time to learn how to get it. On this webinar, we showed you exactly how to get it. So, as we are closing this, we want to make sure that we do everything within our power to help you succeed. Now, I wish that I could make this offer for everyone on the webinar, but I simply cannot do this. Okay? But here's what we want to do for 5 special people. We want to align ourselves up and help you create financial freedom and implement the law of influence. Now, what is the best way to engage the law of influence? Credibility, the trust factor. And how you do that is you're going to want to become a certified mentor. Now, what that means is the business marketplace today demands that we show up with credentials. That means nobody wants an incompetent dentist working on their teeth. No one wants an incompetent attorney representing them in the law of court. Nobody in the marketplace wants to do business with somebody that they don't feel and believe and trust to be competent. What's going to help them do that is your mentorship certification. Now, our mentorship certifications are $1,000 per certification, and we can get you certified in 30 days. Now, there are 3 types of certifications. Your mentorship certification, and then we have a author certification, and then a speaker's certification. Now, what we're going to do for 5 of you that are watching this webinar tonight, and please, I cannot do this more than 5 individuals, and I wish we could, but we simply can't. But for the first 5 that go to our website, and you'll see it right there on that button, mentorshipcertification.com. Click on that button. You're going to see a video, and they'll explain to you the simple process of how to become certified. For 5 people tonight that are watching this webinar and respond tonight by going to that website, mentorshipcertification.com, and clicking on the button to become a certified mentor, we are going to, for those 5 individuals, give you the other 2 certifications absolutely free. What that means is you're going to invest $1,000 in yourself, and we're going to invest $2,000 in you. When you believe in you, we believe in you. So tonight, for the 5 people that are watching, you can go to that website and you can get certified as a mentor. You get your curriculums out there. We work with you on a personal basis. Mr. Morgan and myself will be giving you a phone call once you fill out that information there. And we're going to help you use the law of influence and use your certification to help you expand your business and your income, which we can do it for everyone, but we can do it for 5 people. On behalf of Anthony Morgan and myself, Don Boyer, we want to thank you for taking the time to join us on this webinar. And whatever you do, always believe in your dreams and never let anybody see them. We look forward to walking with you on the beaches of the world, and we're saying God bless. We'll see you next time. And use the law of influence.